I think people buy things because somehow they're drawn to it, whether for the colors or shapes. Something about it makes them feel good. And I think that's why people buy art, and I hope that's what they continually get out of it. It's what I get out of it. It makes me happy when something I've done makes someone else happy. Happy enough that they want to have it. I love color in general. I usually start a painting with the color, which is probably a little odd, but I get colors in my head that I have to use for some unknown reason. So I usually start with a color before I even know what I'm going to paint. I know what color I'm going to be using, the majority of it. So I'll start with a color, and then I go from there into what kind of shapes or what kind of subject matter I want to use, usually. For me, a lot of spirituality is in nature, so I guess that's why I incorporate a lot of it into my nature paintings and flowers and animals and things like that. It's all wrapped up together in my mind. My name is Beth Bergman Falk, and I probably started painting in middle school, I think, is when I kind of got the bug or the urge. Found out that was one thing I could do that was not right or wrong, and I could express myself or do whatever I wanted, and it was okay. So ever since then, I pretty much knew that I was going to paint, whether it was a profession or a side thing, or however, it was definitely what I needed to do. So now when I do it, it's the one thing I can do where everything else kind of falls away, and can immerse myself in color and shapes and reflections and everything else that's fascinating about what we see. I go in phases. I'll do flowers for a while, and then I might do animals for a while, and then I might do architecture for a while, and I don't know what's going to hit me. But I usually will do a certain subject for a while and then try something else, and I'll come back to it. I always come back to flowers eventually. I love Georgia O'Keeffe, obviously. I think she has amazing insight into simple things. I'm a big fan of the old masters, Caravaggio and Da Vinci and those. I like the old art that shows the depth, the chiaroscuro, the reflections and the dimension. When I used to do art shows, the kids had so much more insight into the painting than their parents did. Parents would glance and walk by, where the kids would just sit there and stare at it, and they would see all these things and things that I hadn't really thought about, but they would find these things, or they would just love the color and they would just sit and stare at it like they were absorbing it. And I thought that was pretty cool, that they were so uninhibited and easily, sucked into it. It was fun. Someone made a comment once that it had never occurred to me at an art show that all my animals that I'd had very kind eyes. And I'd never really thought about it before until they said that. And I kind of stopped to look at them all. And no matter what the animal, it did seem to be they were right. So I guess that's how the spirituality comes through the animal in a way. Because everything has a place on this earth, no matter what it is, so that works. A lot of people decorate their home and then they never move anything for 20 years or replace anything, and I think can be a reflection of your life. You gotta change things up and add some color, and otherwise you become dull and dusty.